Hey Tracy.
Hi Barbara, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today for our In Conversation session. I'm going to be completely honest, you're my first guinea pig, so let's see how this works.
Okay, I'm good at that. Being a guinea.
So before we start, for anyone who hasn't had the pleasure of meeting you at one of our events before, can you just give us a really quick roundup in who you are and what you do?
I'm Tracey Renshaw. Set up import export support now 5.5 years ago. Previous life was a financial person, did accounts and stuff like that in businesses. Got involved in the dark art of HMRC and imports and exports, and realised that locally there's very few people with any knowledge of that sort of area. So sort of felt like I would want to give something back, and so they set up import export support with the idea of supporting local businesses primarily. Obviously making a living means I have to support the wider business area as well, but locally focused on businesses who are much smaller and Norfolk based or East Anglian based if I can, and I give them help to sort of bring their stuff in and out of the country in an efficient, tax efficient way, sort of supply chain efficient way, dealing with everything from the forwarders to HMRC and whatever they need to do to make sure their stuff arrives with their clients as they would hope it to.
Yeah, now I remember we were talking quite a lot together in the lead up to Brexit when there was like all these question marks, and I don't think I ever appreciated how complicated the areas that you work in, because you sort of think, well, surely there's just tax on items and coming in and going out, but there's a lot more to it than one might believe. And I was pretty I remember having an hours long session with you and going, oh my God, there's a lot more to take into consideration. So speaking of, now that Brexit is sort of done, what's your experience been? Because like a year or two ago, we were both like, oh.
I know. So I think Brexit has done wonders for me in many ways, because I think what it's done, it's sort of brought imports and exports into people's business language. So when I joined this world, people who did imports and exports tended to be in one small room in a building, or it was part of somebody's job, and stuff arrived and left, and nobody actually knew how it got there. It was sort of a very hidden part of a business, and nobody really gave it much thought, much consideration, or put any kind of effort or attention to it. Attention, I think, is the word, until something went wrong. So it was primarily a reactionary thing that in a business, oh gosh, we haven't got stuff for so-and-so, where is it? Oh, it's still in China. Oh, why is it still in China? Oh, well, that's because you haven't done this, and so one of the things that Brexit's done is people realise that there is a process to getting stuff from abroad into the country and then out again. And I think it sort of made people realise that they need to put some effort in, and in order for it to work, they need to support the people who are doing it. And I think it's just given it a better priority within businesses. And I think people are beginning to realise there are good things they can do as well. So some of the things I like to do is save people money. So, if looking at some of the supply chain things that they have, some of the taxes that they are paying are too high, so we can, work with them to bring those down and make it better for them as well. So I think that's what Brexit's done. I think it, for a long time, made people sit on their hands and not do anything. But I think that was business in general, wasn't it? A lot of people were scared. We'll wait and see what happens. And but as soon as the decision was made, it's like, actually, gosh, let's act. So I've been busy up until lockdown.
Yeah, well, I guess I don't know if you see any parallels between all that uncertainty that you were facing before Brexit and people asking you what's going to happen to now. I guess if people are paying tax that they really shouldn't be paying, then this is the time to sort of figure that out whilst they're not being able to work at full capacity, or is that a wrong assumption of mine?
No, I think there is a real parallel when people are put into uncertainty, especially businesses. The first thing they do is put projects on hold and stop, and almost take a step back, and immediately every project I was on was frozen. Sorry, I just had a call come in then.
Don't worry, it's fine. I thought, oh, I can't see you anymore.
No, sorry. That's the trouble with using the phone, isn't it? Unfortunately. Yeah, so I think all my projects literally went on hold, but they've all started to kick off again. So suddenly now people are coming back in and thinking, okay, actually we need to carry on. So there's a knee-jerk reaction, and then there's a considered response where they then think, actually, yeah, we can carry on. And one of the things I always try and do throughout these times, and I did it when Brexit started, is if you carry on and keep working on your business and improving your business methodologies during the period of uncertainty, when you get to a decision or the outcome is known, then you're in a better place than your competitors, because you've continued to improve while they've been going, oh, I don't know what to do, I'm not going to do anything. And I think that's the same here. So the businesses that are working with me are taking advantage of the free time I've got now to get them sort of moving on a lot quicker than everybody else. So yeah, there is
that's really true. I think it's a really good point, because I do think in the first couple of weeks of lockdown, including myself, who isn't properly working at the moment anyhow due to illness, but even I went, what now, when actually nothing had changed in that moment other than stay at home, and you just take a deep breath and sort of find your way through. Where we're now in, what are we, in week 5? I do feel the mood's changed a bit, that people in general are a bit more chilled and got more of a plan. Maybe that's just the normal human reaction, isn't it?
I think so. I think it's highly natural, and I think it's the sooner everybody sort of picks themselves up and says, okay, this is where we are, and you deal with it. You deal with the rubbish that lands on your plate, and it's the same with anything. And and I think in life in general, if you've gone through it yourself, you've had such a rubbish time, a really difficult, challenging time, and at times you probably didn't think you'd ever get through it, but it is then about who your support network is. And if your support network is good, then you will get through, and your support network will make you stand up when you don't want to. They will push you along when you're not ready to, and they will hold you up when you fall. And that's probably how I see myself as a consultant with businesses. I'm just there to help, in whatever way I can. And I go at their pace. I never insist that there's a deadline on anything. I go with what they say, and that's how I see it, that I'm part of their, as much part of their business as they need me to be, or as little as they want me to be. And I think if you can have that approach, and I think that's probably been one of the keys to the success of import-export support over the years, because it has grown incrementally every year since it started, which is amazing. But yes, it's a tough time at the moment.
Tough and exciting and scary, and all of it in at the same time. Speaking of scary, I've got my little jar of random questions. Wow. And I am just gonna, this might be absolute naff or complete gold, I have no idea, because these little pieces of paper were actually written for an event about 2 years ago. So let's see. Oh, this is good. Right, Tracy, if you could be a fictional character, who would it be?
Okay, for years and years and years, my favourite story was Rapunzel, because of her beautiful long hair. And looking at you with your wonderful hat, That is who I always wanted to be, was Rapunzel. I wanted that hair, and I didn't want to be locked up in a tower or anything like that. But I think the fictional character I always admired was Rapunzel, and just because of her beautiful hair. So it's probably a very shallow response, but that's exactly who I would want to be.
Absolutely fine. But we both know that you don't need rescuing by some duff prince. So, but if it's just for the hair, I'm happy to lend you some of mine one day.
Sounds like a good plan. I did try and grow mine, but it's just, I'm too old now. It's too white and looks awful when it's long, so it's going to have to stay short.
Mine's only that
But who
long.
would your fit be? Who would you be?
Me? Oh, I should have really thought of that before I said it out loud. Who would I be? I think I think I would want to be some sort of a superwoman or something like that, with extra special skills of levitation and superhuman strength. Yeah, so something. I can't think of a character because I never actually watched Superwoman per se, but just like. And doing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just went for a run earlier and everything hurts. And I think that's sort of propelling my thought process that if I was a superhero, it wouldn't hurt. And that would be great.
I think I can understand that, definitely. Yeah, I must admit, I admire you running. I haven't run for about a month now. I just haven't had the energy with just feeling really low. I'm cycling, but not running. I'll get back to it soon. So.
I'm not getting any pleasure out of it, to be honest. I'm not doing it for any other reasons than I need to get fitter and build up a bit of stamina. And I can't go swimming at the moment. I can't go to the gym. So
No.
it seems that running is the next option. But yeah, oh God, it's horrible.
Yeah.
My hips are like, what are you doing to me? It's not like...
I think, on the superhero theme and business, I think, if you think about it logically, there are some superheroes in your business that, especially when you're solo like I am, and who've just literally been absolutely amazing at times for me throughout the sort of 5.5 years when I've had crisis of confidence. There's about half a dozen people who have just given me the confidence to keep going. So I don't feel like the superhero. Whenever I think, gosh, that's a good year, I think of the people that have input into my year to help carry on in that year. And I'm just so amazed by how many people are willing to step in, and support you, whether it's a crisis of confidence, you're thinking, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do, or, just doing something for you. Because sometimes that's what you need. I think people are really good at advice, but they're not very good at doing. Sometimes you just need somebody to do something. I often think I've got so much to do, I don't know how to do that. And somebody comes along and does it, and you just think, oh, that's brilliant. So I think sometimes it's knowing, I'm not very good at explaining what I need. I just get to a point where I think I'm not coping, and then everything seems to crescendo. And then somebody comes along and just takes that one little thing that means that I then carry on. And I think, oh, thank God for that. But yes.
Yeah, isn't
I think
it
I've got some superheroes that I've got in the last 5.5 years.
Yeah, isn't it funny that I found, I've had so many crises in my life, I can't count them. But every time something like you think, oh my God, something awful is about to happen, or I'm going to run out of money, or I don't know how to do this, it always works out. And I don't know how or why, but something always comes along and helps you out, or you get, so it can be a person that helps you out, or something sorts itself out in that sort of sense. So it does make you wonder, like, why do we go nutty all the time? Like, like, why does our body do that to us and go like, ah? And then you look back and you go, well, that wasn't really much of an issue, was it?
No, definitely. But yeah, I think I've had some really, really good support. And I hope that continues, because I know that, you know, we've got challenges ahead. I've got this piece of software that is nearly complete now and ready for launch.
That's
And
exciting. You've been working on that for a while.
yeah, it's gone through as typical software stuff does, I think. And because it's conceptually new, so it's not like I'm looking at a financial model that you can copy and re-engineer. It's, as you were saying, it's a very complicated world I live in, and the tax itself is quite complicated, and what people need to do is quite complicated. And I've tried to create a compliance tool and a sort of reporting tool that will give people information and allow them to feel confident that they're doing what HMRC want them to do. And that's sort of like the crux of, and that's the first time I've ever actually said what it's going to do, probably out loud, because it's been in my head. And that's the problem with somebody, and I've never thought of myself as an entrepreneur or anything like that, but I own this one massively internally, that I don't see outside of it. So when somebody says, what's it going to do? I go, oh, you know, I go through all the features and things that I've got in my head that I would want it to do. And that's been the issue. I needed somebody to sit alongside me and sort of break it down and go, okay, that's fine, and then give it to Tom to design, because poor old Tom's probably had me going, this is what I need it to do, and he's like, I really don't know what she wants. So I think there's been lots of toing and froing, and we've both been really busy. He's had a heck of a busy time, and then I had a really busy time. So the last year it didn't move on at all. But since lockdown, in the last 5 weeks, we've both spent some time together, and it's 95% there now. So it looks like in the next week or so, we'll have some working model that I can start rolling out to have my current clients have a look at, and then maybe, you know, then start getting it out to the wider market. But I also know that, gosh, you know, this is so out of my comfort zone to do the next thing, which is sell a product. I've never done it in my life, and I'm too passionate about it, I think, to be able to sell it myself, and I'm too technical about it. I know the inner workings, you know, so I know I'm going to need some help, and that's going to be the next stage for me, is where do I go to next, and where's my next superhero going to come from, because I'm going to need one if this is going to work, you know. And I've invested a huge amount of my time, effort, money into this, that it needs to work, and it, you know, it's part of my exit strategy. I'm not getting any younger, and I need to start thinking about how I retire. Not yet, not for a while yet, but you know, in the next 10 years. And you know, having a piece of software might just be the way to give me that comfort zone that I can think about, you know, retiring. So yeah, so I'm looking for a new superhero. I think once
yeah, it's incredible how, like, it doesn't seem that long ago where we were used to sit next to each other in the enterprise centre.
yeah.
And I remember you sort of mention it for the first time, that, oh, if only there was something. And then there was this transition from, if only there was something, to I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it with Tom, who's also a mutual friend of ours. And then, you know, from the start to the 95%, and I'm sure beyond that, because I wonder with software if it is always at 95%, because there's constantly something new being added.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So, but to get to that point, which is, let's be honest, it's basically done in its function.
Yeah, it is. It's basically there now. You know, I've had another email from Tom today with the last few bits that he's going to do in the next week or so that will make it done. You know, but done.
That's amazing. That's just such an achievement. You've created something out of an idea.
Yeah. I'm really hopeful that people are so passionate about it. But you know, I think I have shown it to lots of people in theory, and lots of people see the logic. So I think it is something that I think will be useful. It'll be useful for me anyway. Even if I never sold one of them, it's such a useful thing for me. But I'm hoping that, you know, I'll sell the asset, and people will have licenses and use it, because I think it will be, if it was there when I started back in 2008 when I picked up my first ever manual on imports and exports and customs warehouse and CFSP, which I hadn't got a clue what they meant. If that sort of tool had been there, and I would have probably got more knowledgeable sooner, and I think that's hopefully what it will do, and hopefully, and also with somebody behind it helping you as well, then that's going to be so useful. So yeah, fingers crossed. We'll so watch this space, as they say.
No, absolutely. It'll be exciting to watch, and hopefully the people who are watching this, who knows, maybe there's a salesperson there that goes, I do that, get in touch with Tracey. To finish off, shall we do one more random question? Just because
let's do it.
A lovely sunny day, and right, I hope I've picked out a good one, which is
can you read your own right?
Yes, I just had to I'm going to struggle saying this word, inanimate object do you wish inanimate object do you wish you could eliminate from existence? So I guess something that you really hate and want to get rid of, but it has to be an object.
Okay. Now, I need to think about that one. I was fine with Rapunzel. I can do fiction, but fact. What inanimate object?
I know one.
Go on then.
I really hate like the school blackboards.
All right.
Yeah, I just really, and you need the chalk to write on it. I don't know, it does, even just thinking about it does something to my ears. I just really always hated them, the way they feel and the way you draw something on them. I don't know, very weird thing, but I could do without that. And with technology, I think we all can do without it nowadays.
Definitely, I think you're right there. I'm really struggling to think of an inanimate object that I could do without, because I think you tend to just use everything, don't you? So I suppose it would have to be something in the home that is annoying. So I think, to me, it would probably be wires. I think if we could do everything without a wire, I think that would be an amazing world, because just moving my office around and doing what I've done in the last few days, the amount of wires and plugs and sockets and things that you need and different kind of ends that go into something else would just, I think it would be amazing. I think if we could get rid of those, that would probably be my thing, get rid of the wires.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, because I tried to plug in my vacuum cleaner the other day, where the plug was behind a heavy object, and I nearly killed myself, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Or when you're trying to set up a computer and then you have one end that doesn't fit this end, and you're like, what?
And they don't, and they're never long enough, or you need an extension cable, or the plug's in the wrong place, or it has a different end, as you say. But, why we can't make things consistent, I have no idea. And the plugs are never in the right place. I know in this house, because it's quite old as well, the plugs are completely in the wrong place. I have that many trailing wires going around the place. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, that's what I'll get. Perhaps when I make minister, we'll get rid of them.
Yeah, let's hope some innovative young entrepreneurs listen to them and find a way that we don't need any wires anymore. I've got a whole big box of stuff upstairs, and some of those wires are like 15, 20 years old. I still have them just in case some old object comes back to life and I might need it. But I'm with you on that. Yeah. Right. Well, it's been lovely to catch up with you during this lockdown. Short and sweet. Lovely to see your face as well, and I hope that I will see you again soon in the outside world with a cocktail in your hand and having a great time.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Thanks for talking to me.
No worries. Lovely to see you. Bye, Tracey.
Bye.